So again, yes, the why and DIY of video captioning with Lori Waters, and I'm John Lee, he, him, his. We're both from the DRC, and we are going to go over a little bit of some access information first. As I mentioned, we have PowerPoints present live, subtitles going right now. Just copied in the chat the link that will, you can use that link on your smartphone or your computer, and you'll be able to see actually this whole presentation on a separate screen, but with subtitles off to the right side. And what you'll be able to do there is you can even switch to a different language if you want to. You can indicate reactions to what you're seeing and hearing, and you can actually also go back through any slides we've already shown, so you can look at them at your own pace. So we like to have that one going, and then we also have the Zoom live captions and transcript. And at the bottom of your screen, there is a, I've got an image here up here that shows the live transcript button on the bottom of your Zoom window. And if you click the little right arrow to the right of that button, you'll see that you can choose to show subtitles or view the full transcript. And then there's some subtitle settings you can do. So feel free to check out either or both of those and go from there. So our outline for today, starting with why captioning, and Lori's going to talk about that. And then I'm going to switch into doing an overview of some automated transcription tools. So I'm going to use the term ASR, or the acronym I should say ASR a lot, which stands for automated speech recognition, but that's what we mean by automated transcription tools. So we'll show you YouTube automatic captions, the Zoom audio transcript, Microsoft Transcribe, and then Otter.ai. And then I'll do a demonstration of how to create and edit transcripts with each of those tools, and then upload that transcript to YouTube and use YouTube's automatic sync to create the captions. And then we'll wrap up with an overview of just some captioning best practices and a Q&A time. So this one will go over our usual time length that we have for the topics, which is usually from 11:10 to 12 noon. But this one's we're giving you a little extra. So it probably will run till about 12:30. But again, if you do need to leave early, feel free. We will be sending out a copy of our PowerPoint as a PDF following our presentation. That'll have some resources, and you'll be able to see all the links and so forth on there. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Lori.
Thanks, John. So what I'm going to talk about today is why captions are so important. And one of our principles here at the DRC is to make sure that the disabled community is able to speak for themselves. So to start this, we're going to let a deaf student talk to you about the importance of captioning. John, if you want to start the next slide.
Betcha. All right.
Yeah, let's go to the next slide.
Oops. Jump in there.
So as you can see from that video, captioning is very important, and it provides access to the language for students and people with hearing loss, but also helps quite a few other people, even just your neuronormative people. Everyone benefits from captioning. And captioning is key in supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because as we're going to see, and our deaf friend touched on a little bit, it really can help with literacy, with memorization, with focus. There's just so many benefits, and we'll touch briefly on a couple studies on that. We have noticed a higher need during COVID for captioning. Um, and have realized that we've had students requesting straight from the professors captioning. They may not have been registered with the DRC yet, but we're requesting captioning. And we know that nearly half of students with disabilities do not register with their Disability Resource Center at their university. But as soon as they identify that they have a need, that need needs to be honored. We also know that 15% of American adults, 18 and older, report hearing loss. That's 30 million deaf adults in the United States. Yet we only have about 40 deaf and hard of hearing students registered with the DRC. So the likelihood of you having a student using your services or in your classroom that has hearing loss and needs captioning is very high, and they likely aren't identified here at the DRC. Um, we know that a lot of students with disabilities don't have positive responses to how their institution supports their need for accessible content. So this is an area that really there's need for improvement nationwide. And here at Cal Poly, we have been improving and improving how much is captioned, but we really, the goal is that everything that is shown in a video format be captioned. And as I mentioned, it supports many disabilities, not just hard of hearing. There's been over 100 empirical studies documenting that captioning a video improves comprehension, attention, and memory of the video material. John, if you want to go one more. So I wanted to highlight one study on this, which was done in 2016 by Oregon State University, and they looked at a little over 2,000 students. Of those 2,000 students, only about 370-ish were hard of hearing students. The majority had full hearing, but nearly 75% of the people that they studied reported using captions. So we're finding that if captions are available, people are using it. And the top 3 reasons that students use captioning are focus, working memory. It's been proven that it helps people retain the information, and to overcome poor audio. Also, might help with the environment if there's people that might need to listen to the lectures with the sound off, and captioning allows them to do that. Can help with difficult vocabulary. And another big one is if a professor or an individual has an accent, captioning can really help with the understandability there as well. And again, if English is a second language for the person using the captioning, that can assist as well. John, we want to go one more. So not only is it, beneficial on making your class accessible, it is the law. So we know that the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990. There is a section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and also section 508 that specifies that electronic information technology has to be accessible for people with disabilities. There was a court case where the National Association of the Deaf took on Harvard University for not having their online videos captioned. And the court found that online presence is a public forum. So the obligation of the university is to create their online presence must be accessible, just like if the students were in the brick and mortar school. So it's very important. And the CSU also has an order that all material needs to be accessible to all students. So again, we're talking about deaf students, but we're also talking about this makes it accessible for students that are more neurodiverse. They may have focus issues, memory issues. So it's actually helping several disabilities when material is captioned. John will go one more. So again, legal considerations you want to keep foremost in your mind: online learning, websites, or public spaces. You need to caption, and quality captions matter. And the FCC did a mandate that captions have to relay the speaker's exact words. There needs to be a 99% accuracy in order for it to be considered communication access for those using it. So it's very important that it's 99% accurate. And also you want to make sure it lines up with the words. John's going to talk about this a little more, but you don't want the captions to go too fast where the person can't read them. John will go one more. And then for captioning, there's a few options, but all things that are posted online do need to be captioned. So keeping this in mind, we used to at one time have a fund at Cal Poly for a captioning when there was a student with the accommodation of captioning in the classroom. That fund was exhausted and is not there anymore. So now the funding burden is strictly on the individual departments. So if you have a student with captioning as an accommodation, it's really important to let your department know right away. Because if you have a lot of past video that you haven't captioned yet, it can be very time consuming. And the best option at that point is going to be to have someone professionally caption it. Now we do have, Cal Poly has an account and a discount with Automatic Sync Technologies. If you go to this ITS Media Captioning Wiki, you're going to see this Automatic Sync Technology graphic that I have here. This is how to get in there and start an account and send video off to be professionally captioned. Again, it's expensive. You're going to need your department's okay and how it's going to be paid for. Another option is a lot of departments are hiring student assistants to caption material for the department. And John's been doing a lot of workshops to help train those student assistants. So that's your second option. Third is to do it yourself, which is what John is going to get you up to date on here. And a lot of what John will be talking about today, CTLT has provided on their instructional continuity page about captioning. So we've got that in the slide deck too for you to refer back to when going over John's DIY practices today. And with that, I will turn over to John.
Great. Thank you so much, Lori. That was a great overview and some good reasoning on why captioning is important and some of the options that are out there. And as Lori said, I wanted to focus on the DIY part of it because thankfully there's some tools out there now that are making it a lot easier for anybody to go in and caption their videos. And so I've just got an image here of a person doing some DIY stuff with some leather, it looks like, maybe making a belt or something or another, maybe a World Wrestling Federation belt. We'll imagine that. So what I want to start off with is showing you a video of a trailer for a movie that was recently released directly to Amazon Prime, probably about a month or two ago, called Sound of Metal. And so I have the video screen here with the lead actor's face here on the preview. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. Let me make sure I'm sharing my audio and optimize for the video clip. So if there's any issues, just speak up if it's not going right. Let's see, we got something in the chat here. Yes, this video will be recorded, someone had asked. So, oops, let me show you the video first. Okay, so what I want to show with this video too is this is the first time a main feature film has the open captions shown throughout for all audience members to see. So.
You sounding great.
Yeah, right.
What? You telling me you weren't feeling it? You were in it.
We don't need to put them all out.
I know, but we just need to film them.
Your hearing is deteriorating rapidly.
We'll come back. Till then, Lou, we just keep going, okay?
No.
Lou,
No.
let's play tomorrow. Let's see what it's like, okay? I'm gonna be like a click track. You can play to me.
You have to understand, your first responsibility is to preserve the hearing you have.
I can't hear you. Do you understand me? I can't. I'm deaf. I'm deaf.
I found a place.
I think it's important that you stay here with us right now, Ruben. We're looking for a solution to this. Not this.
I need you to wait for me, okay? You're it for me, Lou. You're my heart. You're it for me, okay? You gotta wait for me. Trying to save my life.
Ruben, the world does keep moving. It can be a damn cruel place. But those moments of stillness, when this crappy, mundane world suddenly becomes radiant and magnificent, all the fear is gone. That place will never abandon you.
So yeah, just to show you again, you can see some of the captioning in action there, and how it wasn't just the dialogue you probably noticed that was captioned, but also the sounds, and that's an important thing to note, as we'll talk about later, about what types of information do you need to caption in your video. So I definitely recommend checking out that movie if you have access to Amazon Prime. Really good depiction of kind of going through that period of losing your hearing and adjusting to that, and talking about deaf culture, but also showing some of the tools that are out there. So it kind of covers a lot of things, and is a really entertaining and moving film at the same time. So learning objectives here for the next bit I'm going to be doing is showing you some of the features and the pros and cons of 4 automated transcription tools, again, that are using that ASR, or automated speech, or automatic speech recognition. Learning how to create and edit a transcript for accuracy, with each of these automated transcript options. And then learning how to upload the transcript to YouTube and use YouTube's auto sync option to generate closed captions. So I'm going to start with YouTube automatic captions. And for anybody who's ever use the automatic captions or seen those, you can probably attest to the fact that they are not the most accurate, and sometimes to a very comical effect. But if you upload your own video, it'll start generating those captions, but it won't appear immediately, so it may take hours. So I do get questions sometimes from folks who say, hey, I uploaded my video and it's not showing the automatic captions yet. I've known it to take a number of hours before that shows up. So depending on the length of the video, it may take a little while, but it will appear there. And then you can go in and edit those, as I'll show you a little bit later. There's a wide range in accuracy, anywhere from 50 to 80%, and that 80%, it's still not that great, especially when you're looking at 99% being the really the barometer or the benchmark that you want to shoot for. So they're usually poor, and they're really unacceptable for any use, but especially for educational and informational use. Again, unless you go in and edit those for accuracy, and that is something that YouTube has made fairly easy to do. The automatic captions don't include punctuation and capitalization, which are very important to do with captions. So that's just an extra little thing that you have to do with their captions. Another option, since here on campus that we're all using Zoom, or most of us are using Zoom. Zoom generates an audio transcript, and it actually uses a tool called otter.ai, which is a separate tool I'll be showing a little bit later. But that's what creates the transcript of the Zoom recording, but only for cloud recordings. And by the way, if you are using the live transcript now while watching this presentation that I pointed out to earlier, that is also using the otter.ai automated speech recognition. The nice thing is it includes speaker names and timestamps. The transcript is searchable, but the Zoom host can edit the transcript easily for accuracy, as each little chunk is synchronized with its corresponding video clip. But the key thing is there, you can't really share the transcript with others to edit it. It's kind of like, unless you share your login, which you don't want to do, it's pretty much only accessed by you. But the edited transcript can be downloaded as what's called a web VTT, which is like I think stands for video text transcript subtitle file. But this often takes several hours for it to be made available post-recording, usually 6+ hours. So if any of you have ever had like up to an hour, hour and a half video recording, you'll notice you'll get an email usually that when that's available, which is usually fairly quick, but the audio transcript may be several hours later. So not the best if you're in kind of a time crunch. I wanted to mention this tool called Subtitle Tools. And by the way, as we mentioned, we'll be sharing this PDF out after our presentation. So you'll be able to access this link there to check out this tool. But it's a free online subtitle format converter that lets you convert basically a variety of different subtitle formats. So the example I give here is the SRT to VTT format. Those are two very common subtitle formats. So it lets you go either direction with those for the conversion. And it also has a plain text converter option, which can be used to remove timestamps from subtitle files. So for example, Zoom's audio transcript VTT file, you can download from your recording, in your account. And then you can upload that file to this website, and it will strip the timestamps off of it. And then that makes it easier to copy and paste it into YouTube's auto sync window without the timestamps showing. So again, if you have a Zoom recording that you're like, hey, I want to make this available on YouTube so I can share it widely, then this subtitles tool can be really helpful for that. And it's also helpful for English language learners who can print out the transcript for studying, or anybody can have it read aloud with text-to-speech software. They don't have to hear the timestamps being spoken. Next tool I want to kind of go over. So those are the two of the mainstream ones. Again, YouTube, automatic transcripts, and the Zoom. And now this one's called Microsoft Transcribe. It's a lot newer, and it is available to all of us since we have Office or Microsoft 365 on our campus. So it's accessible through your OneDrive. And I'm just going to show this little video clip here so you can see a quick demonstration of it in action.
Save time by recording audio right inside Word and get an automatic transcript inserted into your text. To start, select Dictate, Transcribe. You can upload audio you pre-recorded or select Start Recording to begin your interview or conversation. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
You're welcome. I'm happy to have the opportunity.
Could you start off by telling me a bit about yourself and your organization? Continue your conversation, then select Save and Transcribe Now when finished. You'll see your transcript with different speakers automatically separated. Select the play button or a timestamp to hear your results. Could you start off by telling me a bit about yourself and your organization? And edit lines if needed. You can either add all to document or just a single quote by selecting the plus icon on any line of the transcript.
So there's, let's check the chat here real quick. Okay, Oleg, well, I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. You're asking, the question is, I'm still confused. What's the easiest way to improve captions in YouTube? So the easiest way is, I'll show you a little bit, is just going in and correcting those. And I'll show a little bit after I go through these next ones, how you can go in and basically edit those for accuracy. But there are some other things you can do, not just with the YouTube, but anytime you have a recording or you're going to be doing a video recording, and that's to basically go in and use the best microphone you can. Make sure you're speaking as clearly as you can, especially if it's a scripted thing that you're doing, and to make sure that your ambient noise is low around you, so the microphone's primarily picking up your voice. And just things like pronunciation and enunciation as best you can are going to also result in the best quality captions. But definitely, microphone quality, starting with that, is really important, just to give these tools some good audio to transcribe. Let's see, any other questions here? Yeah, cool. So some of the features for a Microsoft Transcribe, it allows unlimited audio transcription in Word for the web. So again, you have to use the Word online, basically in OneDrive, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. You can upload up to 5 hours of audio recordings per month to be transcribed. But as I mentioned before, the unlimited is just if you just have a video in your browser that you want to play, and it could be any video, YouTube, Vimeo, doesn't matter where, you can transcribe that on the spot, and there's no limit to how many videos or how long the videos are. But if you want to upload it as something to be transcribed, like an audio recording or a video recording, then that you're limited to 5 hours per month. Only supports English transcription at this time, but it does differentiate between multiple speakers and provides starting timestamps. As you saw there, it says like speaker 1, speaker 2. But you can automatically remove those speaker names and timestamps when exporting the transcript, which is a new wrinkle that Microsoft recently added, which I'm very thankful for. That means you don't have to use something like that Subtitle Tools website to remove those. You can just tell Microsoft Transcribe not to include them when it's exporting the transcript. And then one of the nice things I like about this tool is you can easily assign somebody else, like a student assistant, to edit the transcript just by sharing the Word document with that person in OneDrive. So then the student can go in, edit it, and then copy and paste the edited transcript into YouTube's auto-sync feature, which will automatically create those closed captions for the lecture video. So again, I'm going to show that in a little bit. Next, I'm going to go into showing our last tool, which is called otter.ai. And this is has a free version, but also a premium version. But I'm going to show this particular demo just so you can see how it does with someone who's speaking with accented English, because we get that question a lot, and otter.ai really brags about how well they do with accented English. So here you can see it. I apologize that the audio is a little bit low in volume. Can't really control that. That was just how it was uploaded by whoever did this. But you'll at least see the transcript as it's going, so you can follow along.
You have to pardon me for my heavy voice. I have a bit of a flu, and I was not sure that I would be able to make it today, but I was very keen to, and I'm glad I did, because as I can see, many of you, we are of the same generation, and our generation has grown up, at least I have grown up in the corporate world believing that the M in marketing stands for Mariwala. And I'll tell you why. No, I mean it in all sincerity, not because Mr. Mariwala is here, but because I've met some of his competitors. Some of his ex-colleagues are my colleagues, and I have not heard of a bigger rock star reputation in marketing than his, both for ideas and particularly, if I may say so, for execution. I assumed that this is a marketing conclave or a marketing business strategy conclave. And the bad news I have to start with is this, that I am not a marketing person by education. But the good news, as David Packard told us, is marketing is too important to be left to the marketing people.
So there you go. Just wanted to show you about a minute of that. So you can see there what Otter's
You have to
doing.
pardon me for my
Oops.
heavy voice.
Okay. What Otter's doing there is it was actually, you can see it's transcribing live right in front of your eyes. Whereas Microsoft Transcribe is doing it after you've finished kind of doing this recording, and then it does it. So slight difference there. But one of the things about Otter that I've really been impressed with since I've been using it, has really good accuracy. The company reports an average of about 92%. I regularly see, probably 95% and above for, if I'm doing short recordings or whatever, I'll try to measure that. And it can be used by Zoom, or it is used by Zoom, I should say, for its automatic audio transcripts, as I mentioned earlier. And it's also being used right now for the live transcript option in Zoom. And currently, just like Microsoft Transcribe, currently only supports English transcription. But as I mentioned, it does well with accented English. So that's something important to keep in mind if that applies to you or any speakers that you're going to be captioning their video for. It differentiates between multiple speakers and provide timestamps. And in fact, you can even have it learn a speaker because it has kind of a voice, I forget the term they use, but a voice typing feature where it can kind of learn who each speaker is the more that you're using it. You kind of tag a voice to a particular person, and then once it sees what that tag is, it will compare it to future recordings with that person's voice. So it does a pretty good job with it. And it can automatically, though, remove the speaker names and timestamps when you're exporting the transcript if you don't want that information there. I'll mention briefly, there are 3 plans for it. One of the popular ones, of course, is the Otter Basic, which gives you 600 minutes a month of free transcription, so about 10 hours per month. But it's limited to about a max of a 40-minute video or audio transcription at a time. So in other words, if you're using it live to transcribe something, whether it's a video you're playing or even if it's like something, a live recording that you're making, it'll cut off after 40 minutes, which isn't necessarily a big deal because you can always start a new transcription right after that and then piece the 2 together. And then you can upload up to 3 recordings per month to it if you want it to do the transcription in the background type of thing. And there's ways around the 600-minute limit too, because you could, create multiple accounts that, each have 600 minutes. So you can kind of stretch that out a little bit. But there are some features that you don't get with the free account or the basic account that you get with these other 2. And I'm highlighting the Otter Pro account here, which is about $4.99 per month. $5 a month is the educational discount. And that gives you 6,000 minutes per month, or about 100 hours. And then you can have it transcribe up to 4 hours of video or audio at a time. So if you have a class or a meeting or something that's an hour long, if you upload that video or if you play that video on your computer, it can transcribe that easily. And then you can add custom vocabulary. So that's a key feature for having that accuracy up front to limit how much correcting you're having to do. Because if you can add in words that maybe you use for your class or your subject matter or people's names that may have unique spellings or just are unique names, then adding those ahead of time will increase the likelihood that Otter will accurately transcribe those words. So that really distinguishes Otter from the other previously mentioned tools for automatic transcription. And then the business one, which is one that I'm currently using, has the same features as the Pro above, but it provides this live transcript and captions integration for Zoom. But now that Zoom has its own, which is essentially using Otter, that's not, I don't think, as critical a feature. The business license is mainly just for, allows you to manage, teams of folks that are using Otter. Just like with Microsoft Transcribe, with Otter, you can easily assign a student assistant to edit the transcript simply by sharing a link to the Otter transcript with that student. And then the student can edit the transcript in Otter and then copy and paste the edited transcript into YouTube's automatic sync feature, which will, again, create those closed captions. And I want to mention, we have purchased some licenses for DRC students. that we can check out to them based on their access needs, particularly for deaf and hard of hearing students. And that allows them to typically use them during lectures or in group work or attending instructor drop-in hours. And yeah, I mentioned here at the top, Otter is a cloud-based application that uses artificial intelligence, kind of like what Microsoft Transcribe does as well. And that's what allows it to instantly transcribe those live lectures, recorded videos, meetings, and interviews. So last spring, I did some workshops for student assistants, or I did a training for several. So we could do like a pilot program called Co-Video, captioning online video. And that was to help faculty caption their videos. And at the time, trained about 50 students to caption videos with the help of Otter.ai. And I had the students go through a free 2-hour online self-paced course that covers some of the captioning guidelines and practices. And now I'm just doing these monthly 1.5-hour captioning workshops for any faculty, staff, and student assistants. So like this is one of those. And just kind of to train folks on this do-it-yourself captioning with some of the tools that are out there. So now I want to kind of get into some demos of how to use all 4 of these tools and I'm going to kind of weave these together, the creating and editing a transcript, and then uploading that transcript to YouTube and using its auto sync. So I'm going to start with YouTube, automatic captions, and then go into Zoom, Microsoft Transcribe, and then wrap up with Otter. So probably in the next 20 minutes or so, I'll do that demo and then leave some time at the end for some Q&A. So again, we'll probably go till a little bit closer to about 12:30. So I'm going to back out here and go over to YouTube. Is everybody, let's see, any questions here? We have a question coming in. Can a student edit a Zoom transcript by sharing a link with the student? You mentioned this is possible on YouTube. Yes, so no, the Zoom transcript, you can download it, but they can't edit it in Zoom, which has kind of more of an easier way to go in and listen to parts of the video and edit it that way. So it can be done. They just have to, the professor would have to export that transcript, give it to the student, which I don't think is quite as user-friendly or efficient as doing it right within the Zoom recording. And I'll show you that in a little bit. So yeah, so that one is the case with the Zoom. So hopefully everybody's seeing I'm on my YouTube studio here. So you can get into this when you go to your profile up in the top right. And actually, I'm going to back out here to kind of show you all where this is, just to show you from the get-go. Yeah. So when you log into your YouTube account, you'll go up to your profile up at the top right, and then go down to YouTube Studio. And then this is where, of course, you can upload your videos and then go in and later add in your captions. So then in the far left, I can see my content, which is all the videos that I've uploaded. And I'm going to pick one of these and show you what the automatic subtitles look for that. So so this is a list of all my videos, and then on the far left side here, you'll see down here there's a option for subtitles. So I'm going to click on that, and again, I'll see all my videos again, but now it's going to show me how many subtitle languages I have going for each video. But if I just click on the link for the video, so I'm going to do this one right here, John's Zoom meeting, and I'll see here I've got, after I've uploaded the video, it automatically will create this automatic transcript. Again, it may not be right away. It may take several hours, but it'll eventually show up there. And if I specified a language, it'll put like this English United States as the video language, but there won't be any captions there, although this says published. I'm going to unpublish that. Actually, I'll just go ahead and delete that just so you'll be able to see from the get-go what that looks like. But then automatic captions, again, that's what's going to be there. So if I want to edit those, I'm going to click here, duplicate and edit. So then it takes me to this window and I will see the automatic transcript for this short video. And I can click up here where it says assign timings. And it just sort of breaks it up into individual captions. Now I don't want to leave it at this because I do want to go in and check the accuracy of these captions. And I'm going to want to add in some punctuation and capitalization wherever needed. So again, I can do this right within the video. Wherever I click in each of these little chunks, it'll take me to that part of the video and I get a little bit of a preview of what the caption is going to look like. What YouTube does that is really helpful is they kind of break up your captions into about 2 lines at most, which is a good rule of thumb to keep in mind is keeping your captions no more than 2 lines if you can. 3 lines or more just gets to be too much text basically, and of course it also covers up part of the screen. But I can go in and check out what I can even play it from here just to hear what is being said and compare it to the caption. Hi everyone, this is John Lee. I'm just doing this practice recording to demonstrate how you can use various auto. So I can say hi everyone, and if I don't want the because you don't need to have uhs and ums in there, I can delete that. John Lee, whoops. So this is what I was talking about, how you have to go in and do some of this punctuation capitalization, which to me is just a little bit, it's not bad if the video's less than 5 minutes or so, but if I had an hour or more, I would find this rather tedious to do. But again, it's personal preference too.
John, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I, for example, already have hundreds and hundreds of hours from previous quarters. And if I have to do this for every video, I already tried to edit the videos. If I have to do this, it is just physically impossible. I will just explode. I just don't have enough time. Is there is there a way to train YouTube to translate better?
There's train it to your like your vocabulary that you're using. Is that?
Yeah, so I can train it. Maybe I can. So it has its captioning, and then maybe I can teach it that this is how you're supposed to do the captioning. Is there an AI? Yeah. Is there an AI that you can train so that it will do captions better? Because if one has to go back and actually edit captions, it is just, there's 24 hours per day is not going to be enough.
Right. That's why I showed the other tools because I'm showing you this one for folks that want to use this particularly for like shorter videos, because I would find this rather tedious because, as I mentioned earlier, the YouTube automatic captions just are not terribly accurate, and you can't manually go in and train it to your vocabulary. It's using the Google's kind of AI for this, and there's just a lot of factors that go into also affecting its accuracy too, as I mentioned about like the microphone or the audio quality that goes in and other things, and how we're speaking and pronouncing things and so forth. So but some of these other tools, as I mentioned, like Microsoft Transcribe and Otter, I think do a better job of it and give you a better starting point to go in and edit that. But yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. Like for longer videos, I do think this method is a little bit more tedious to do.
But the other tools, can you use them with YouTube if the videos are already on YouTube, or you have to use some other platform?
Oh no, you can use them with YouTube. Yeah, that's you can have them. You can have, as I'll show you. You can play any, like the one demonstration for Otter, it showed the gentleman with an accent. That was a YouTube video, and Otter was transcribing it. Yeah, so you can use it with any video. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter what it is, what video, where the video source is. It's an independent transcription tool that is just kind of listening for whatever sound is coming out of your computer speakers. So yeah, so we'll get into that here shortly. So again, I can go through here and just listen to these chunks, scan through and edit it accordingly. and then publish it up here at the top right at the end, and there you go. There's your captions. So like I said, YouTube kind of does the timing for you, but you do want to kind of pay attention to, you know, how long these the captions are appearing on the screen. So you may not want them showing for the whole, like longer than you're speaking, but you want to have at least a second or so with them on screen, and so people can read them. But if there's a long pause, you know, you don't necessarily need to keep that caption on the screen. So that's where you can edit the length of time that the caption appears on the screen in here as well. So they make it fairly easy to go in and edit the errors that they make, but it is time consuming. Again, this is only a 2 minute or under 2 minutes, so this is pretty easy to go through and edit. And that's why I show this one. If you just have some short videos, maybe, and you upload it to YouTube, then maybe it's just as easy just to go in and edit it here. So once I finish, I can click publish. And there it is. It adds this kind of new, this English one is my published subtitles currently on the video. So if I go to view that video on YouTube, I'm going to pause it for a second. Down here on the right is where I have my captions, closed captions that I can turn on and off. And I can choose in the settings here, I can see all my available options for subtitles. So there's the auto-generated ones, and then the English ones are the ones I corrected. So those are the ones somebody would probably want to check. They'd see, oh, those are the ones that are probably the accurate ones. Normally, people that don't edit their captions, this is the only option that shows up, and that's really what you don't want. You don't want to just give people the auto-generated ones without corrections. But you can have multiple languages too. So if you want to transcribe the subtitles, you could add a language and basically translate into any other language and have that as an option. So that then when people go to settings here and subtitles, they'll see any number of languages. So you can have multiple subtitle options there for folks to choose from. So that's the YouTube way to do things. And I want to go over to the Zoom audio, and I'll scroll down here to one that I've done before. So here's a DIY training. So I'll go into this. So I'm in my Zoom account. I logged in, like if you go to calpoly.zoom.us. And if I just go into my recording, I click on the recording itself, I see the video. And then this is my actual training. But off to the right here, you see here's my audio transcript. And so I can, scroll down through the screen, the page here, and go to specific parts of it. So this is what you as the host can do. The student is not able, or anybody else that you share your recording with can't go in and actually do the editing right in here. What's nice about being able to do it in here is if I click on a particular chunk, it takes me to that part of the video automatically. And I can play it to hear the audio to compare it to what is transcribed here. So if I click here, and then if I click play, that's that. So yeah, I'll be back shortly. Just going to get a few things open here. In the meantime, I wanted to let you know, and I'll remind this to everybody else as they come in. There should be at the bottom of your Zoom window. So there, I can click this little pencil off to the right, and correct that. So else as they come in, I can do whatever editing I need to, and then click the little check mark. So I could go down and edit accordingly. So that's one way you can use Zoom to do it. Zoom is using Otter, like I said, to do their transcription. But as I'll show you in a little bit, Otter, if you use Otter itself, and if you get like that Pro account, you can add your own vocabulary in ahead of time that will improve its chances of accurately transcribing. And then, the other advantage that some folks like to do is they edit this transcript here, and then they share this video link with their their students or their class or whomever, because then the student can view the video here with the captions turned on or off. And with it, even with the transcript off to the right. They won't be able to edit the transcript, but they'd be able to read the transcript. So that's certainly an option. Instead of turning around and uploading this to YouTube, you would just share this link with your class or whoever your audience is. But again, you as the host are the only one that can go in and edit the transcript right within the recording location itself. If you wanted somebody else to edit it, you'd have to just share like the actual subtitle file, which would be like a text file with them, but they wouldn't have the benefit of having this synchronized transcript with the video. So that's, and once it's done, of course, if you did want to turn around and upload this video to YouTube, then you can go in here and download up in the top right the subtitle file, and then turn around and upload that to YouTube, or as I'll show you in a little bit, how you can do the auto sync with that. And let's see, so we'll go here. I'm going to show the auto sync with the Otter one in a little bit, but I want to show right now the Microsoft Transcribe. So here I am with in my OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive. You can access again through your Cal Poly portal if you haven't already. It's going to be on the far left side under your email and calendar, and then you'll see your files here, and you can just either any of these folders or just right in the main OneDrive folder. Go up here to New, and then open up a blank Word document. And I'm going to use this to transcribe that YouTube video I showed you a little while ago. Again, you can use this tool and Otter, as I'll show you in a minute, to transcribe any video that you have playing on your computer. It doesn't matter where it is. If it's one you've saved on your hard drive, or if it's YouTube or Vimeo or something on Khan Academy, it doesn't matter. But you're going to go over here on the toolbar in Word where it says Dictate, and click the little down arrow and choose Transcribe. Now here you can upload audio. So if you have an audio file, you could upload that here and let it transcribe it in the background. But more often than not, you could just click Start Recording when you're ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to queue up my video. So I'm going to do the same video that I already have uploaded to YouTube, and go back here. I'm going to click Start Recording. And then click Play. Hi everyone, this is John Lee. I'm just doing this practice recording to demonstrate how you can use various automated transcription tools to create closed captions for your videos. Now, closed captioning is really important when we look at it through a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens, because it really embodies the principles of inclusive design, which basically is, so I'm going to stop that right there and stop right here and give it a second. So then I can click Save and Transcribe now. So just take a minute to finish doing that. And then on the right side here, it's going to put its transcript of what I just said. So,
but this is going to be just the text. So if we share this with a student who cannot hear, then they would not be able to match it to the videos so easily, right? Because it's just the text.
That's correct. Yeah, but we're going to sync this up with the video on YouTube. So I'll show you how to do that. So, so here's the transcript, and I can go in, just like you saw in Zoom, I can go into each chunk and edit it. And so if I want to hear what was the audio that was going with this little chunk, I can click the little timestamp here. Hi everyone, this is John Lee. I'm just doing this practice recording to demonstrate how you can use various automated transcription tools to create closed captions for your videos. Now, closed captioning is really important when we look at it through a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens, because it really embodies the principles of, and it just keeps going down. So it did pretty well. And you can see here, unlike what YouTube did, we've got capitalization, we've got punctuation. It's done a pretty good job with that and pretty accurate. So, and I can also individually go in here and say, you know, if I don't want this, I can, you know, delete this or edit it, but I can go down here and add to document whatever either the whole thing or snippets of it. But I'm going to just add everything here to the document. If I click this little down arrow next to it, I can say if I want it with speakers and timestamp speakers, or just text. I just want the text because I'm going to use this text to upload it to YouTube, my YouTube video, and create captions. So there's the text. So I'm just going to kind of delete some things here I don't need. I don't need the stuff I said at the beginning. So let's say I'd already edited over here and then I export the text here to my blank document. Then I'm going to select all of this, copy it. I'm going to go back to my YouTube video and I'm going to add a language just to show you how you could do this. So let's say you already have your automatic transcript here that it generated. You want to add your this content that you just did. I can actually click add here and do it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click just add a language so you can see the process. So click add language, and then I'll just go down and choose like English. Doesn't matter. I'll just choose English Canada for now. That's only because I've already added some subtitles in. But then I can click add subtitles. And I don't know why. And then I click auto sync. And then I paste what I just copied from that Word document. Then I can click assign timings, and YouTube automatically assigns timings to the video. Again, this is all the transcript I just did in Microsoft Transcribe, and YouTube has just assigned, tagged it to the video. So if I click here in this top part, I click play. Hi everyone, this is John Lee. I'm just doing this practice recording to demonstrate how you can use various automated transcription tools to create closed captions for your videos. Now, closed captioning is really important when we look at it through a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens, because it really embodies so there it is. You can just see right off the bat. I have this edited transcript I've just uploaded to YouTube. All I got to do now is just verify the timing is right and everything, which it should be. But sometimes I'll pick up some other things that I may need to add, or if I had multiple speakers or any other sound effects, I may want to add that information in there, like, you know, if there's a noise or something, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But then I can click publish when I'm done. And there it is. Again, it doesn't matter that it says Canada. That's just for effect there. The important thing is that you've got your subtitles in there. And so like normally, like I could have added it here, but I just wanted to show you we can add in other languages. So I could click add. And the option here to choose is auto sync, and then paste in the text from Microsoft Transcribe. Okay, so that's, and then assign timings, verify, and then publish. So it's that easy. The other tool, the final tool I want to show is Otter, and I'm just going to do a quick little demo of that and then sync up the, show you how you can download that transcript and then copy and paste it into YouTube like I just showed there. So I'm going to click record, open up my video, click play, and I'm going to let you guys watch Otter as it's transcribing. Hi everyone, this is John Lee. I'm just doing this practice recording to demonstrate how you can use various automated transcription tools to create closed captions for your videos. Now, closed captioning is really important when we look at it through a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens, because it really embodies the principles of inclusive design, which basically is an approach that results in products, services, and so you get the idea. Again, the difference with Otter is you can kind of watch as it goes along and note things that might need to be corrected. I'm going to go back to my it saves everything as a conversation. So I've already got a full transcript of this. So here's what it was for that whole video. John Lee, I'm just doing this. And I can click on various parts to hear it, but I can go in, there's an edit button up here. And it shows some little shortcut tools I can use, but I can go in and edit on the spot. And what's nice is Otter does learn from the corrections that you make. So the next time, so if you do correct errors it makes, the next time you upload anything with those same words of vocabulary, it's gonna increase the chances of it getting it right. So compared to YouTube, this is something that does learn from corrections. So I can go through, make all these corrections, and I can hear, you know, specific parts of the lecture that I want to. So I'll be focusing on using some automated tools that include Otter.ai and Microsoft Transcribe. But I'm also going to touch on how transcribe. But I'm also going to touch transcribe. But I'm also going to touch on. So I can. Oops. Let's do this. Refresh the page here. So again, I can go through and selectively play certain parts of it because the text is synchronized with the audio. But when I'm done, I just go up to the triple dots up here, and I can export the text. And I've got the the pro version, so I have more options. But if you use the free version, you'll have a TXT option, which I'll do right now. I'll just export as that, and then it gives you all these options on how much you want to export as far as speaker names or timestamps. If you just want to have same speaker segments done, you can see here it just kind of makes this one long paragraph. So I'll do that, click continue, and it'll pop up a little window to let me save that file. And then again, I just copy that transcript from there and paste it into YouTube and let YouTube take care of syncing up the timing. So my computer's taking a little while to bring up the save dialog.
Which of these two methods is more reliable, more accurate?
Oh, I definitely think this one's the most reliable. And so I'm going to go and save this. Yeah, just because of the ability to, I think the accuracy out of the box or from the get-go is better, and then the ability to have it learn and improve is better too. So I have just opened, you may not see it on the screen, I just opened up that text file that I just saved from Otter. And so I'm going to select all the text in that, copy it. Going to go over to my YouTube video here, and I'll go here, and let me just delete this here so you can see that. So I can go like English US. There, I'm going over here to the far right where it says subtitle. So I'll click add. Again, I did a similar thing with the Microsoft Transcribe transcript. I'm going to go to auto sync here again, click that, and then I'm going to paste in what Otter transcribed. There it is. And then click assign timings. YouTube takes care of matching the transcript to whatever the audio, corresponding audio is here. And then I can skip down to any one of these little parts of the transcript, click play, and verify that it matches up with the audio. And inclusion lens, because it really embodies the principles of inclusive design, which basically is an approach that results in products, services, and environments that are accessible to and usable by everyone to the greatest extent possible. So if you look at it, for example, so pretty good. So again, I could do any further editing that I may need to, especially if I need to add in, like, if I did want to add in a speaker name or a sound effect that needs to be identified, I can do that in here, and then publish the captions. So now that's published. So then when I go to my video, if I refresh that, I'm going to see those Otter captions as an option under settings. Hi everyone, and I should see English US, and there it is. So these are the Otter captions that I just uploaded. But I didn't really upload, I copy and pasted them. So so those are, like I said, the transcribe, Microsoft Transcribe and Otter give you that ability to, I think, really edit a little bit easier, especially longer videos, because those two tools already capitalize and add punctuation. And I do think they're a little bit more accurate than like, for example, the YouTube automatic captioning. So it adds a little bit of a step when you're doing it in a third-party tool like Microsoft Transcribe or Otter, but ultimately I think you're saving time in the end with those longer videos, because yeah, you're mainly just having to correct errors of recognition, not do the punctuation and the capitalization to make the captions readable. And the other thing is YouTube will transcribe the ums and the uhs and the stammers and so forth, whereas Otter and Microsoft Transcribe filter those out. So that kind of makes it a little bit more readable as well. So I want to finish in these last few slides just touching on the, let's go here.
John, you have a question in the chat too,
Okay.
asking if you know the accuracy of captioning and screencast.
That's a really good question. I don't think it's terribly screen. Are you talking about Screencast-O-Matic, I presume? I've not used that one extensively, but I've heard it's not terribly accurate, and I'm not sure what ASR or automatic speech recognition they're using, but I've heard a number of people complain about the accuracy of Screencast-O-Matic's automatic captioning. So I would say you could certainly use that if you're using that for your videos, but I tend to recommend folks, if they have a video in Screencast-O-Matic, that they have like something like Otter or Microsoft Transcribe doing the transcription of that video, and then do it that way. Because then you can, it's easier also to share that transcript with somebody else, because it's easy to share a transcript in Microsoft Transcribe or Otter. You're basically sharing a link with somebody, and then they can go in and edit the transcript. If I recall, Screencast-O-Matic does not make it easy for you to share that caption file with anybody else. I could be wrong if they've changed that, but last year when I was looking at it, they did not offer that. So you had to basically like give someone your login information to your Screencast-O-Matic account, and yeah, that's not really the best approach to doing anything. And even in YouTube, you can give somebody editing access. You can restrict what access somebody does. So I often will have like a faculty member or staff member. There's a way that you can share permissions to your videos, but only let that person do so much to the video, or only see a certain thing. So YouTube makes it easy to give access even to edit their automatic transcript. So yeah, good question. So YouTube's interactive transcript is something else I wanted to mention. It's a somewhat hidden feature that resembles the TED Talks interactive transcript. And so basically, if I go into the video here, if I scroll down, there's these triple dots you've probably seen before below a video. It's below every video. When you click that, it says open transcript. And then that's going to open it up to the top right of the video. And then again, they can choose whatever. If you have multiple languages, they could choose whatever the language, but I'll choose the English US. And there's that auto transcript. And I can go through this transcript. And this, again, looks similar to what Zoom offers you, right? Because Zoom has its transcript off to the right side too. And you can click anywhere and jump to that part of the video. So again, it's a really great usability feature for anybody. But you can also do a search of the transcript. So I can do a Control F on this web page and type in like Microsoft, and then it highlights everywhere in the transcript that it said Microsoft. So if you're, again, any student or faculty member or staff member, if you have a long video up particularly, and you want to find a specific part of that video where something was talked about, I mean, you can't beat being able to search that. And that's the benefit of captioning, is that your videos become searchable. And that's a useful feature for everybody. And then you can also toggle the timestamps, and then you can, select that whole transcript and, copy and paste it and put it into a Word document if you want to have a transcript for a whole video and just read the transcript instead of watching the video. So lots of benefits there. Let's see, so we've got a question. Let's see, can a student edit a Zoom image? Oh, I'm not sure if it was, do you know if the captioning accuracy, oh, you already asked that. Sorry, Marie, okay. Any other questions so far?
Can I ask? Oh,
Go ahead.
I noticed you had multiple things published in YouTube.
Right.
So those are the multiple languages that student can select, right? So if you have 10 things published, then when they go to choose the language, they will have 10 languages.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I only show that just to emphasize that, you could have a video that's in English, and if you wanted to have that provide Spanish subtitles or vice versa, you could do that. YouTube allows you to do that. You can upload multiple subtitle files. I wouldn't necessarily want to have multiple English ones. I'd want to have obviously one that's clearly the accurate one, and the other one up there will just be the auto generated one. That's going to automatically show up there. But the key there is I want to show is you can go in and edit that auto generated transcript that YouTube does, and once you edit it, it creates a duplicate, subtitle file, and then that's the option up there. So they'll say English, something like English, and then English auto, and they're obviously going to want to choose the English one because that's going to be the accurate one. And I like to put in any video I upload, I like to put down here in the description. I like to make it clear to people so they know it's captioned, and some people don't know, where to find captions in YouTube. Maybe they've never used them, and most people do, but I don't like to assume. So just saying, this video is closed caption. Click the CC button on the bottom right side of the video to toggle the captions on and off. And then you can even, if you had more than one language, mention that there. And then I also put a descriptor about how you can see an interactive transcript for the video and how to do that, because a lot of people don't know that capability is available. And by the way, we'll be when we send out this PDF of the PowerPoint, I'll include a document which is about doing DIY techniques and steps for particularly using Otter, but it'll mention a lot of things I've shown here too. So finishing up here, and hopefully we'll leave a few minutes for Q&A, but aiming for 99% accuracy is really important, as Lori mentioned earlier. So that's what you can try to achieve when you're editing. Captions are displayed on a single frame just long enough so that the viewer can read it easily. So at least 1 second per caption frame. Again, YouTube, I think, does a pretty good job of automatically dividing things up and doing that. So they're helping save a little bit of the work there for you. Try not to overcrowd the video with captions. Limit to no more than 2 lines per frame. Again, YouTube does that. Captions should be perfectly synchronized with the audio. YouTube does that, but you always want to verify that captions aren't on the screen too long. If there's, again, a long period of silence, you don't necessarily need the caption showing on the screen during that whole time. Mention speakers when there's more than one person in the frame or when the speaker is not in view. So usually you can put that person's name in brackets, and either like something like narrator, or if it's an unidentified person, you can do like person 1, person 2, just some way so that folks watching it, if it's not readily apparent who's saying what, that the speaker identification does that. Correct punctuation is a must. Again, as I mentioned earlier, YouTube's automatic captioning does not do the punctuation. You have to add it, whereas Zoom, Microsoft Transcribe, and Otter all add the punctuation for you. Check for correct spelling, even for proper names and nouns, capitalize proper nouns, and then adding sound effects in text when they are relevant. So it's a loud noise or laughter or sneeze or whatever. It's all good information to put in there, because you want to give everybody an equivalent experience of of watching that video as much as possible. So I know people have been asking questions throughout, but we do have still a few minutes left. If folks have questions, you can ask them now, or like I said, our contact info will be in the PDF that we send out. You can see Lori and my contact information there. LA Waters at calpoly.edu, 805-756-5797, and then mine is jlee245 at calpoly.edu, 805-756-5972. We do have a survey, which I will put in the chat if you have time to do that now, or if you want to save the link and do it soon thereafter. We'd greatly appreciate it. So I'll put a copy of that in there now. And then feel free to ask any questions right now. And also, you can check out our pages on social media so you can follow other things the DRC is doing.
I have one question.
Sure.
You mentioned the ability to edit Otter, and then the next time you go in to Otter and edit your file, I presume it knows who you are, and it will learn from what you did before how to guess better what it is that you specifically are saying. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, how do I obtain this feature? For example, if I have limited zoom and I want to upgrade, how do I even find out if I have that feature? I don't know.
Well, Otter, that's Otter, the standalone Otter. Yeah, so Zoom uses Otter kind of under the hood, but it's not the one. Although I do wonder if when you correct the Zoom transcript, if it is learning that, because that is the Otter engine. So it may be doing it with that. I was referring more to Otter as a standalone like this, which is basically I created an account in Otter, and we have a professional account, but even the free account you can do and corrections you make in there, it will learn. The pro account that I mentioned earlier is the one where you can add vocabulary into it and have it learn that. And so that's only available through, again, the standalone of Otter. So if I go into going up here to the top and go to account settings, manage vocabulary, and then I can add in names of people or any other vocabulary, which I've done here. And so that's going to give it a greater chance from the get-go. If you just put in some terms that you know it's probably going to struggle with, or that you've noticed it has, just go ahead and put those in there, and it will increase the likelihood that it will transcribe it correctly. So especially folks that are, teaching a lot of the STEM courses and what have you, that can be really helpful. But again, this is only for English, so keep that in mind. If you're using a world language and so forth, there's some other ways to do that with your live presentation. There's actually a presentation subtitle feature in PowerPoint that you can use that will you can kind of do your presentation and then save the transcript from that, and you can do that in various languages. But yeah, that's the standalone version of Otter that does kind of allowing you to preemptively have it learn various vocabulary. So I recommend checking that out. Even you just check out the free version. You get the 600 minutes for free, and depending on how long your videos are, I would recommend trying that out. Maybe even comparing it to any other tool you've been using, and see if you see a noticeable improvement in accuracy. If you compare it to YouTube, again, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is that it capitalizes and punctuates things. So that's saving you some time right there. The main thing just to look for after that is just, hey, how is it getting the words correct? And if it's not, I think it makes it really easy to go in and edit those mistakes. Because again, when I click edit, I can go straight to the error, play it. Basically is an approach that results because everything's synchronized with the audio, and then correct it on the spot. or have somebody else do it. Again, I can share this link with somebody, share a link to this conversation, copy this link and paste it in an email and say, hey, could you help me edit this transcript if it's a student or what have you. So so that's what I like about that, is the ability to collaborate easily. We're right at about 12:30. Any other questions about what we've talked about or demonstrated?
Does the free version of Otter also have the capability to learn?
It'll learn when you correct, but it doesn't not adding vocabulary. So you can have it. My understanding is it will learn as you make corrections, but you can't add like a lot of vocabulary ahead of time to preemptively, make it accurate. That's only in the paid versions. So like the pro version, which I mentioned, is like basically like $5 a month for the educational discount for it. Yeah. So that's the main difference there.
I have another question.
Sure.
I don't know if this is possible. So as I understand it, you were speaking to Otter and it was instantaneously transcribing what you said?
Yes. Well, I was playing a video,
okay.
And it was transcribing the video.
Okay.
But it'll do that if I speak to it as well. I mean, yeah, it'll do the same.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking outside the box. It's like, what if I just made a video, right?
Right.
Like Zoom, because that's what I have access to.
Yes.
What if I do Zoom and I have another laptop that is right next to it and basically gets the audio and is doing that, transcribing thing. What if I have an assistant sitting there in real time? Is it possible to, to go back and edit a piece of text that is incorrect on the spot?
On the spot, no.
That's what.
Yeah, it doesn't let you do it on the spot. You can do other things to interact with it, like highlight things, but it doesn't actually let you do the correction, unfortunately. So that's, yeah, you kind of have to wait till it's finished processing the file, and then you can go in and edit it. What you can do is highlight things. Like if you see an error, you can highlight an error if you wanted to do that, or if you got somebody, and then to make it easy to go back to it later to say, oh, I know that made that. But the other thing to keep in mind is sometimes Otter, if you're watching it, you see, oh, it made a mistake. But then at the end, when it does almost like a reprocess it again, it actually gets it right. So it's doing its initial run through with its AI, but then it does some extra processing, I guess. And I've noticed errors that I thought it made live, but then those errors went away because it kind of did a once over at the end. And so I didn't have as many errors as I thought I was going to have. So that's the only thing about trying to do it right on the spot, is the error you see may only be transient. It may actually correct it, but you can, if you're doing it and you see it hasn't changed, you can even still mark it like, oh, that's probably going to be an error kind of thing. Because there is a highlighter feature. So at least tagging something to review later might be a time saver.
Right. Another question I want to know if you know, because I edited one of my Zoom files and I made a specific note of the time index where I made that change. And then I went back and watched it the next day. There were several instances where the time index that I wrote down had disappeared, or maybe I just wrote it down wrong. But I'm wondering, as you said, if you make an edit and then resubmit it, is Otter going to work on it overnight? Because when I got up the next day, I was pretty sure. Does it absorb other text into other time index locations or something? I don't see. What you said is, I suspect that once you make a change to Zoom,
right,
it makes that change, but does it change anything else in the file? Do you know what I'm asking? I mean, it says,
like,
oh, if that's You probably meant this here, right? So I think I'm fixing it, but it's just gonna somewhere else. It
Yeah.
thinks it's oh, that's that because it like the word motion.
Right.
It thinks I say emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say oscillation, it thinks I
Yeah.
say isolation.
Gotcha. Yep.
And I don't want to mess up other words and have
Right.
it make second guess other words that are actually correct the first time.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. That's a good question. I'm not positive on that. And that's something I'd like to find out if Otter is on the back end is actually learning from that if you make these corrections in here. But I'm not sure. It shouldn't change the timestamp, but yeah, if you see that happening regularly, that's definitely something to yeah, make a note of, because normally when you're just editing here, it's just gonna unless you're adding a lot of words or something like that. If you're just changing a word or correcting it, it shouldn't throw off the timestamp too much.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't let you really change that. All this is letting you do is just change the wording. Zoom actually, I mean, YouTube actually lets you do a lot more to change the transcript, but Zoom's pretty restrictive.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you add a lot of words, it may throw it off a little bit because it's going to be like, wait, what's this? But if you're just changing a word, it should be fine.
Yeah. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, so I may very
Oh,
well.
yeah. Well, I've been there. But yeah, kind of what I wanted to show was just sort of this progression of the ability to edit with ease these transcripts from YouTube, then to Zoom, to transcribe, and all to Otter. So I kind of think Otter is sort of the pinnacle. But some of the other options, just depending on your time and your desire for using multiple tools or whatever. Some people may just say, hey, you know what, I just want to use YouTube. It's just one thing, or just use Zoom, and you can do that. But I just wanted to make people aware of there are some restrictions to what you can do in those that aren't quite as restrictive in Transcribe and Otter. So if you're willing to explore those, you may find, especially for longer videos, you'll end up saving time in the end and headache with those. But I'm happy to answer any questions. Lori, do you have anything you want to add or say at the end before we wrap up?
Nope. Thanks everybody for coming. I think that was great information.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll send out a copy of this presentation, and then I'll include my kind of DIY document that I share with everybody that goes to my workshops that will have some step-by-step and some other links related to this that'll hopefully answer your questions, and some links that are pertain to how to use the Otter to create a transcript that you could then use in Screencast-O-Matic or in Vimeo, because I know folks use some of those different platforms as well. So yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you at the next Tapas. Take care.